Hello and good morning, everyone. Melissa Kirkpatrick here, the business and life coach that you've been seeking in order to create the business and life that you love so that you can scale and navigate everything to make your business scale, your mind, money, and momentum. I'm coming back in with my interview series because I know how important it is for people to receive information, and social media is one of those great platforms that allow us to do just that. I wanted to give people an opportunity to really understand what others are doing in their business and how they can help support you grow in your business. And so I've invited two of my really good friends, Colleen and Peter, who are your literary pros, that are going to give us some information about writing a book or even your business documents and materials that maybe you've been struggling to get out there, but you're ready to say yes. My big thing is I would hate for anyone to die with a book inside them. So I felt this is a great opportunity for them to share how easy it can be once you say yes to being able to start the process of writing your own book. So introducing Colleen and Peter. Guys, tell me a little bit about yourself and how things got started.
I'm Colleen, and I am celebrating actually 25 years in business this year. And about 6 years ago, I needed to make a change and pivot because businesses change. And instead of just going back to corporate America, I had the opportunity to become a certified author assistant. I've always loved reading and literature. And so I became a certified author assistant and went down this road to help people share their story. And Peter?
Yeah, so I joined up after I graduated college, and we were both making changes in our lives at the same time. So I hopped on board with Colleen here, and we started helping people publish their books in whatever way that works best for them.
I love that. I love that. The thing is, everybody making change in their life, sometimes they're fearful of making changes when all along, if your heart desires a change, it's like, go with that, right? So I love that you both have found your passion and your purpose in the next chapters. And so chapters, a pun on that word. So what I think my biggest thing, because I've always been a reader and I'm a self-help and I love the ideal. I do have a PDF that I published on the 5 steps to your own drive. Always thought that that would blow out into a much bigger book, but it's scary. And so I think one of the things that most of us we don't even know where to start. And so when you think about that, how does someone even know that they have a book to write? How would you help me identify? Do I even have a book to write in me?
We believe that everyone has a story to tell, no matter what it is. If it's a personal story that you've been through, a personal event you've been through, whether it is your business and you want to share that story, help people in business move forward. Everybody has a story to tell, so why leave your legacy with everybody else? And one big question we hear is, well, somebody's already written about that, or somebody else has had that experience. And we say, we really believe that everybody has a story to tell, and your story is going to resonate with someone like no one else's story will, because it's your tone and your voice, that type of thing, how people resonate with you and follow you. So your story is important and will affect someone like no one else's.
Yeah, I like that. Your legacy, leaving your legacy. And I hear that of how my story is going to be told is going to be different, even though it has some matches to what other people have experienced. We know that our heart really speaks more than just words on paper. So look at all the self-help books, look at all the recipe books, look at all the story books, the kids books. I love that, because I think that's probably what would stop us most, is not feeling like my message is important. What would you say to someone if that was the case? My message isn't that important.
Well, like Colleen said, your message is important to someone. There's always going to be someone out there who is going to resonate more with your book, with your story. And if you can just go and help one person or 10 people or 100 people, whatever that may be, you're leaving your mark on the world and you're making a change for the positive.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to add something to you. Said you were talking about words before, and we started kind of the slogan back when we first started about it's more than just words. Mm-hmm. You said it's more than words on a paper. It is. It's more than just words. It's your feelings. It's how you feel about it and how you resonate with people. But it is more than just words. The story you're telling.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we all can say that we know there's a story, and we tell stories all the time. It's just, how do I then put it into a format? Am I writing a big chapter book? Am I writing a pamphlet? Am I writing a brochure? Like, what would you suggest that someone who is interested, where do you even start?
Well, we like to ask people to have a strategy session with us, because then we can figure out where they are. It doesn't matter what part of the process they're in. If they're just starting, if they're in the publishing process, or they're ready to market it, we like to work with them and help them figure out where they are and go from there and write a plan. Do you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to have a conversation. And sometimes we kind of get ourselves stuck up in our own head, like we think, oh, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? But if you can sit down and talk with someone who knows what to do, then you're going to have a much clearer path forward.
Okay. So these strategy sessions, that's on phone or Zoom, or how long do those usually take? Is there a charge for that?
So our strategy sessions we like to have on Zoom with people, because it's a lot easier to have a face-to-face conversation. And I think over the past year and a half, obviously we haven't been able to have a lot of face-to-face conversations. However, I think everyone has kind of learned to maybe not love Zoom, but at least learn to make a good impact on Zoom. And we think that having that conversation and talking with someone, because it's all about that personal connection is and that's really what it's about with writing too. You want to have that personal connection. So the quicker we can lock into that, I think the better our potential clients can impact their own story.
And it's a complimentary strategy session, so there's no charge for it. It's 30 minutes long. And we send out a questionnaire that people can answer, or we have questions we ask them to find out where they're at in the process, if they want to move forward, how they want to move forward, just basic little questions just to get to know them, figure out what they are at, where they're at in what they want to do, and answer questions they have.
Okay. And there is a link that they can book on your calendar, or is it better that they message you, or how's the best way for someone to get on that schedule?
We have a link that people can, we can send you to, but we have a link. It's a strategy session link.
Okay.
And you just go on the calendar and sign up, and then the information's there.
Okay. Okay, great. And your website is yourliteraryprose.com?
Right. And it's
okay.
A take on prose. It's PROSE for writing. Your literary
prose.
Okay. PROSE.com. So.
Okay, we'll be sure to put that link below so that everybody can get that. Awesome, awesome. So when I think about writing the book, so my expectations when I hire you guys, obviously there's some expectations. You have books behind you on your bookshelf. So I want my book in print. I want it out next week. I want to, have it perfect. Like we all get excited, right? Because we want instant gratification. So when I think about if I'm, going to hire you, in the expectation of okay, we've had the discovery call or the strategy call, there's something I want to write, then what does it look like as I work with you guys? Is it one-on-one? Is it in a group? Is it group coaching? What was that?
So we really pride ourselves on having the personal connection with the authors that we work with. So we take each of our authors through a personalized plan at the very beginning so that they can really get the most out of their book. There's a lot of different steps that an author can take when they publish their book. Not every book is the same. And so we really want to make the most out of their time, their money, their effort that they're going to do so they can get the biggest return. So we like to start off and have a introductory call with them, obviously, but then we like to have a personalized plan so that they can really work from where they're at now to their publishing date, and then weeks, months, years after that.
Yeah. So we usually do that with the VIP day. If people, if they decide to move forward with us, we work with them in a VIP day, but it is a personalized where they walk away with a plan of what they want to do. But the plan can change. So that's what we like to tell people. We had a client who wanted to publish, say in November, December, a couple years ago, and her husband came home and said, "Oh, I just bought a house." So, so her plan went whoop. And so that's what's nice about the plan. It can change.
Yeah. So I was wondering too, like, have you had authors that thought they were going to write about one thing and then wrote about something else? Like, is there
Yes,
that change?
there's a fun story that I like to tell. We had a gentleman who he had a basic idea of what he wanted to write. His entire basically his entire career, he's talked about the Native Americans and the great gifts that they gave to the world. So that's what he's been about. When he first started working with us, what he had was a transcribed speech that he had, and it was a 8,000 word speech that he said, "Here, I'd like to turn this into a book." Well, after working with him, we were able to really refine what he had and make it into a book that was not just a small 30-page book, but it's a 150-page, 40,000 word book that turned into really the cornerstone to what he uses in his business today.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I mean, that's the thing, right? So you said a speech turned into this much bigger book than what he had intended or thought. Oh, wow. So a lot of people probably have written things that could have been expanded, but maybe with not the right support or the right conversations, which is what it sounds like you guys offer.
Exactly. Yeah. So we all have our own ideas, our own thoughts, our own, if you want to call it, intellectual property that we have in our minds, and we all use it every day. And I don't think that a lot of people really sit and think about the vast material that they already have at their hands, especially business owners. I mean, we all work in a way that's really unique to ourselves, but that means that we have unique stories, unique things that we offer that we don't always think about until we sit down to write. And sometimes even when we do it ourselves, we don't think about it. So working with someone who is even just a second set of ears, a second, set of eyes to read over what you have, you can really bring out a lot of interesting and unique topics.
Yeah. Yeah. I know recently Matthew McConaughey did Green Lights, and it was all based on his journals that he had written back, from childhood forward. And he thought he was going to be able to just, whip something out from the journals and realize nobody cares what he wrote in those journals. But over time, he was able to create this bestseller of Green Lights, which is really interesting just to hear his story of how that even happened. So, yeah, I love that, because what was the term you used? Literary. We all have a literary or intellectual.
Intellectual property. So that's like the things that make us unique, really. I mean, I know it's like a technical term, but it's our own unique way that we think about our problems that we solve every day for our clients.
Yes. I love that. Very nice. Very good. Yeah. So definitely having a strategy call could help me unbox or identify or uncover what really is in there. So like I mentioned, I had the pamphlet, the PDF, the 5 steps to your own drive and things. So that's where I think having the right individuals to have the conversation about would help me kind of visualize what that could look like. Or maybe, because I used to own and operate golf courses, that's where the Find Your Own Drive started. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be cute to add golf terms and related to that? But I get stuck in my own process. So being able to work with someone such as yourselves, I wanted to know the benefits of it. Like where do, you mentioned the gentleman wrote his and that became part of his cornerstone for his business. What is the benefits, and is there profitability in writing a book?
So I think the biggest benefit is, we've touched on it already, but is making that positive impact in someone else's life. So we all, like I said, we all have our own unique ways that we approach life. We approach business. And I think that if we can each take our own story and share it with someone else, we're going to make a bigger, more positive impact on other people's lives. And that's really what I think everyone, especially business owners, is trying to do in their life. And there is a way to make that profitable, because you're going to want to sell books if you have, so right away you're going to be able to make some profit off of it. But I think the biggest impact comes when you're selling the books to the people who care and the people who connect with you, because that leads directly into new business opportunities that you may not have if you were just, in a small, a networking group of something or working on your own. So a book has the potential to reach people not just in your local area, but nationally or internationally. And in today's day and age, who knows who's going to be able to, find your book on Amazon, find a connection, and then who knows where that might lead.
Yeah, we have there's a story to tell about if your book can be profitable or not. But, there's things you need to do as an author, no matter which way you publish, that to market your book. And one gentleman, when we first started a few years ago, wanted to talk about republishing his book. And he didn't know if he wanted to do it or not. And I said, well, how are you marketing your book? And he goes, well, I put it on Amazon. And I said, well, what are you doing to market it and get it? And he goes, well, I put it on Amazon. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, no, not making fun of anyone. That's not to make fun of anyone, but you can't just put it on Amazon and expect it to sell itself. That's just a good example. So there's work to be done, but a great way people can make money nowadays on their book and getting it to the vast majority of people is through podcasts and speaking events.
Well, I think that's very true, because I think our minds do think if it's on Amazon, everybody's buying it. They're selling, hundreds of copies of it daily, because, that just seems like what happens. But so it sounds like you guys have a little bit of, knowledge, obviously, but is there support that you also offer your authors when it comes to the marketing piece of it or what to do?
Yeah, so we have not just the things that we can do, but we have a team of professionals that we can, either work with you or, or have some connection with, so that, we want the thing that I really, really pride ourselves on, not just being personalized, but we want it to be personalized to the author, and we want them to be able to make the biggest impact they can. So it's not just about publishing their book. Yes, we want them to publish their book, but we want the book to be done and published and make the biggest impact in whatever way that might make sense for them.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we do help with the marketing. We can, like he said, we have partners, collaborative partners that we work with in every aspect for that, and marketing's one of those. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the thing that happens a lot of times too, is we come up with the idea, we come up with the plan, we get the product, we get the service, but then it's getting it out there for the masses to even know that it exists. And it takes a lot of work, just like in my own business, being able to support other people on their journey. I have to work at it all the time. You're always promoting yourself. You're doing the know, like, and trust. And that's what I like about relationships like this, is being able to bring forward for others who are thinking about, do I want a coach that helps me write a book, or a coach that helps me with life or business or marketing or strategies? And we often think that, well, I'm weak if I hire someone to help me, when all along it's about, why not do it with the experts who have already been on the training ground, who's done it and knows maybe some of the shortcuts and the loopholes that you can get through much faster. And that's what I liked about when I had the conversation with you guys, is really seeing that you have this amazing website. Again, that's the Your Literary Prose with an E.com, that has a lot of resources there already. We talked about strategy calls that you guys do for free for 30 minutes. Is there any other, well, you mentioned a VIP day, so we can have a conversation with you about that, book a call or drop into your messenger. You're on all the social media platforms, but is there anything else that would be something that maybe would get me thinking beyond my limitations? Because that's usually what happens. I start limiting my beliefs that I can be an author or I can write a book. Is there any recommendations that you have for that?
Well, I did. If you're whatever stage you're in, if you're just thinking about it, you're not sure what you want to do. I did a 21-day or 20 days task to understand, know, and complete before publishing. So it walks people through the manuscript creation process of like things that are needed in order to get yourself ready to do that professionally published book. So there's just different steps. So we do have that download if people are interested in doing that. A video comes out every day or two, and we have some resources with that to help answer questions.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So if I'm not ready to book the call, I can download that from your website. Again, we'll put the link available too. So that's 20 tasks to know before you start writing.
Yeah, to understand, know, and complete before publishing. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. I love it. Such good resources. So what's the best part about your guys' job when it comes with working with your clients and stuff?
I think the best thing for me is seeing when someone has that book in their hand, how proud they are at the very end, because it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of depending on your story, it could take a lot of like personal growth and a lot of it can take you through some challenging memories. And I think that when you have that book and you have it in your hand and you can see the smile that they have on their hand, and they know, and they can feel proud about what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just seeing where they've started, like Peter said, with the one gentleman we worked with, his was what, 8,000 words or something, and moving it up to a 40,000 word book, just the progress and the growth and the knowledge that he gained, but then we also gained the knowledge too, by what he was writing about. So
yeah, awesome. Well, I think you two make an awesome team. I feel the value is there. That phone call can make a huge difference. I encourage everyone to take the opportunity to do that. Where can we find you again? Go ahead and give us your social media platforms and website.
So you can find us at Your Literary Prose, that's prose.com. And we are on Facebook and Instagram at the same Your Literary Prose. And you can find both me and Colleen on LinkedIn as well.
Okay, great. And so we'll be sure to put the link so they can have that conversation. I know you guys said you opened up some extra spots on your calendar so that there should be enough room for those who are ready to just be curious and ask the questions, but also they're free to message you or email you if they feel more comfortable with that, taking the conversation into that arena as well. It doesn't have to be on a phone call if you feel more comfortable doing that. So thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come in and have this conversation with me. I know those of you who have watched this are thinking, maybe I do have a book inside of me, and maybe it is time to really get serious about it. Time is of the essence, and I would hate for you to walk away from this conversation not knowing if you do or if you don't have a book. So don't let it die within you. Reach out to Colleen and Peter and have that conversation. I am excited about my own opportunity of what might come from my conversation in this whole thing about what book is it that I am going to write? Because I had a year that I know there's a memoir, there's something there that is really going to be what they helped me to understand today is if I just touch one person's life in my message and my story and how I deliver it, that's going to make all the difference. And so from there, I think that's where we find where we can grow personally and also help others around us have that same growth experience. So again, thank you guys for coming in, having this interview. Any closing remarks that you'd like to have?
Thank you for having us on this interview. It's great to share what we do with other people. And it is becoming winter time, which means we're spending a little bit more time inside. So what's a better time to start writing than when you're already stuck inside?
Perfect. Yes. So, and we've all had a year to remember last year and part of this year. So we all have a story inside of us. So let's take the opportunity, have the conversation, and then get started writing. Even if it's awkward before it's elegant, you've got to start somewhere, putting that pen to paper. So again, thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions for me, feel free to message, but also reach out to Colleen and Peter. I wish you the most amazing day, and I look forward to bringing more interviews soon. So bye for now.